To truly love another person, does it require at least one person in the couple to sacrifice an enormous piece of themselves in order for that relationship to work? Will there always be a power imbalance in which one person is sacrificing more of themselves to make the relationship work? And if so, which hell is worse? The hell of sacrificing a lot of yourself, or the hell of feeling loneliness and emptiness? Hey guys, it's Andrea here. Today I want to talk about something that's been very difficult on my mind that I feel called to share on my YouTube channel. Right now, I'm really wrestling a lot internally with trying to define love and trying to understand what it really truly takes to love another person. And I'm not here because I have the answer to this. I'm here because I'm searching for the answer to this, and hopefully by talking it out to this camera alone in my room and sharing it on YouTube, I might be pressed to think of something good and get closer to that answer within myself. So to explain where I'm at, and I'm going to give very brief details about this because I want to protect the privacy of the situation. But recently, as in about a week ago, I made a very difficult decision to walk away from a budding romance. Put as simply as possible, while we actually had a lot in common, we understood each other in many ways, and a more granular way to say that could be that we understood each other's pain in many ways. However, the contrast of how we managed our pain and how we dealt with that pain was so different that both of those realities couldn't exist peacefully together. I only saw two paths forward through this dilemma. Either I would have to ask this person to change a lot about themselves, or I would have to alter and suppress a lot of myself in order for us to coexist peacefully. I didn't feel comfortable with either one of those paths. I think if I went with the first path of asking this person to change, in turn, even if they chose to do it, they might grow incredible resentment towards me for changing so much about them. Or if I went with the second path where I suppressed a lot about myself in order for us to coexist peacefully, I would also build incredible resentment for sacrificing so much of myself. Either way, I thought that either path would be a path towards incredible suffering and hell. And because of this, I chose to walk away. But on the other end, now that I've made the decision to walk away, I've also entered another path of hell because now I feel incredibly alone. And because of this, I am wrestling a lot with what it really truly means to love another person. And before I get more into that, I just want to actually take a side note to say, I think a lot of people out there think that the person who leaves a relationship does it with this empowered feeling, but not a lot is talked about how the person who left is also suffering a lot. I've been having a lot of doubts, a lot of questions in my mind. Was it the right thing to do? Should I have tried to work through these issues? Should I have asked the person to change and see if they were willing to, and invested time into the situation to see what the outcome of that could have been before making my decision? Either way, all that to say, being in the shoes of the person leaving is incredibly difficult as well. And I'm truthfully not doing well right now. But now I'm really wrestling with understanding what it truly means to love another person. And I'm starting to wonder, to truly love another person, does it require at least one person in the couple to sacrifice an enormous piece of themselves in order for that relationship to work? Will there always be a power imbalance in which one person is sacrificing more of themselves to make the relationship work? And if so, which hell is worse? The hell of sacrificing a lot of yourself, or the hell in which you live when you feel completely alone? I'd like to give a more concrete example that will help explain the dilemma, because like I said earlier, I don't want to give too much information about the situation I'm in now. But to relate this to a relationship I had a very long time ago, when I was 22 years old, I was in a relationship in which, in many ways, this person was an incredible boyfriend. I mean, they were very smart, very emotionally intelligent, very loyal to me. They were a very health conscious person. They were working out and going to the gym and cooking healthy food. There was honestly a lot of really great things about this person that really aligned with me, and we could talk for hours. He was very philosophically minded, and I truly loved this person, and he truly loved me too. However, he had this pretty incredible demon that he was facing. He had a very severe drug addiction that he was battling, and despite all his wonderful qualities, it caused a lot of disturbance in our relationship. I mean, without giving too many details about this person either, in case he hears it, I just remember certain nights where he would be trying to recover from one drug, and then he would take Ambien to try to recover from his other drug addiction, and then he would be out walking around in the middle of the night, putting himself in all these dangerous situations on Ambien. He would be hallucinating. There was just a lot of really scary disturbances going on while he was trying to recover from this drug addiction. And at that time, I made a decision to walk away from that relationship despite all his incredible qualities, because one, I was sacrificing a lot of my peace to stay with him, and two, I was terrified of what the future could bring. If this was a person who wanted to have a family with me and wanted to have kids with me, I was worried, what if he does get help and he gets better, but then he has a relapse, and then I have children with this person, but the children then have to go through suffering of their own while witnessing their father's drug relapse. There was a lot at stake, and I made the decision to walk away from that situation. However, to this day, I still wonder about that decision, and I wonder if things could have been different if I chose to stay with him and love him throughout that entire thing, if I chose to be an anchor for him through all his struggles. And I'll never know what the outcome of that could have been, because I didn't make that choice. I chose to walk away, but I don't necessarily know what the right thing to do is. And I'm finding myself in a similar situation today where I did a similar thing for different reasons, but still a very comparable situation to what I'm in now. And it still begs the question, how much sacrifice does somebody have to make to love another person? And will there ever be a fair and equal sacrifice exchange in terms of love? Because when I think about this on things on a bigger scale level, like politics, how often do we truly compromise in politics? It seems to be in the world of politics, when you have two very polarizing different belief systems, there's really no other way out but for one system to dominate. How often, and then correct me if I'm wrong, like I said, I'm looking for answers here. I don't have the answers. So anybody listening, if you can think of a concrete example where you're like, no, actually there is this example in history where there was this beautiful compromise that was made, or no, actually you can find loving relationships in which one person doesn't have to sacrifice too much of themselves, where both people can meet somewhere in the middle. If you can think of an example, please put it in the comment section below. But anyway, I have yet to see a situation on a bigger scale level where two very polar opposite realities existed, where there was this middle compromise. I think mostly I see one belief system completely dominating the other. And that's why I'm really confused about love. I'm asking myself a lot of questions. I'm scared. I'm scared that if I'm unwilling to compromise a huge part of myself, that I'll never actually get to really experience love. Because from what I could see, there are a lot of broken people out there today. It's really hard to find somebody who's, well, you can't expect perfection from anybody. I can say that. I know to a certain degree, to love somebody, you have to accept people's darkness. But where do you draw the line is my question. At what point does it become accepting too much? And that's my fear. My fear is that what if right now the world is in such a dark place that there really aren't that many people left who have overcome their darkness, or who are not striving to overcome their darkness? And don't get me wrong, I don't want a naively positive person either. There's something kind of disgusting about that too, and I kind of hate that type of person. To quote Jordan Peterson, or to paraphrase Jordan Peterson, because I forget exactly how he phrases it, but Jordan Peterson says something along the lines of, to be a good man isn't to be a naive idiot. It's to be somebody who's suffered immensely, who has faced their demons and their dragon head on, and who has fought and conquered the evil within themselves. Or another way to put it is that a good man isn't somebody who's never battled with darkness within themselves. It's a man who found his darkness and conquered it and came out through the other side. So I guess the reason I'm referencing that is because I just want to say that I'm not necessarily looking for a human being who doesn't have any darkness. I think that would be incredibly boring and unrelatable. But I'm looking for a person who met their darkness and faced it and made it out to the other side. And I'm scared. I'm scared that there's not that many people like that who exist anymore. And if there's not a lot of people like that who exist anymore, maybe the only way to love another human being is to sacrifice that desire in a partner, which leaves me with only two places to go: to sacrifice myself or to be alone. And I don't know if that's true, but I know that's how I feel right now, and that's what I'm afraid of. And I don't know which path of suffering is more worth it. Anyways, I don't really have much else to say. Like I said, I'm really working through a lot internally, and I just wanted to share exactly where I'm at with my thoughts on this today. Again, please leave in the comment section below if anything came up for you during this where you have some insight, or maybe you can point out a blind spot in my thinking, or maybe you agree with everything I'm saying right now. Please leave your comments below. And that's it. Hope you have a good day, guys. Bye. Hey guys, I just wanted to take a second to let my listeners know that I offer virtual piano lessons. I have many students of different ages, from child to adult, and of all different levels, from beginning, intermediate to advanced. Many of my virtual piano students have been with me for years, and they find that learning virtually is just as easy as learning in person. If you're interested in booking a trial lesson with me, you can reach out to me on Instagram, Pranzata, Pranzata, and shoot me a DM, or you can reach out to me on email as well, pranzata@gmail.com, pranzata@gmail.com. Also, if you've enjoyed this video today, please don't forget to hit subscribe. It is incredibly difficult to grow a YouTube channel in the modern day. However, I feel determined to do so, and every single subscriber helps more than you could possibly know help me build this channel.